Well, there we go. What do you... Let's have a look outside now and see what's actually happening there.
Well, we can see the horizon is now light.
We can see it now, but let's have a look at it during totality, because we were actually concentrating, weren't we, John? Mostly, and obviously, on the shot out of the Hercules. But the atmosphere out here was the thing that kept distracting me.
It really was spectacular. I mean, it really was the middle of the night.
Yeah, it was. Look at all those lights flashing. People trying to capture it, ruining it, I suppose, by those flashlights.
I always love people that take me over. Too late now, yes. I mean, it's really midnight darkness there. It really is absolutely amazing. Then this super lighting effect to the south. If you tried to set it up that way, I doubt if you could.
If you were a film director, it'd cost you millions to do that, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, do you want to go and see the 2001 eclipse?
Well, I don't know. I might be tempted. I wasn't tempted before, but it certainly was
quite... But you are now.
Yeah, I'd like to see without having to gas to you about it. But if we look outside now, normality returns. A grey August day in Cornwall out there on the beach.
But to be quite honest, I mean, even though we didn't actually see the corona ourselves here, the memory of this is going to stay with people for the rest of their lives, just as it did with those people that saw it in 1927.
OK, let's go out on that beach now to Philippa and to Helen and to see what those experiments actually did and what the weather's going to do.
Well, I have to say, it's warmed up hugely, thank goodness, because it was about time.
At long last.
As for your experiments, how did it all go?
Do you know, it's actually fantastic. Let me show you what happened. Over here, you can see the temperature did actually drop during totality. There was the peak of it there, and it actually started dropping down as we got through to the total eclipse. Perhaps more dramatically, which is really great as a weather person to see. You know, I told you the low pressure may not work. It kept on falling. The pressure, look, from 11 o'clock onwards, 11:10, it started rising. Not a lot, 0.1 of a millibar, which is not a lot, but it is significant because that wouldn't have been happening due to the normal weather conditions today.
Right.
So that's quite amazing. The radiation, how much sunshine we were getting through, the power of it, look at that, went right down from about 50 watts per square metre down to 0.
Yep.
And now, as you can see, it is beginning to even out and come back up again as well. So that was quite an interesting thing. The wind, well, the wind speed, it did certainly drop during totality just a little bit, and you can see it's now picked up once again. We're beginning to see the gusts picking up once more. So in all, it's been really interesting. I'm fascinated by it. It was great.
I have to go back and talk about whether our girls heard their Spanish radio. Hi, girls. Hello.
Yep.
Let me just... Right, come on. Did you hear them saying hello?
No.
Oh, no! Why not?
Well, it did become clearer, but because there's so much equipment and everything, it didn't say it, kind of.
There was a lot of noise out here as well.
Yeah.
All of you lot were making a lot of noise.
That's kind of why.
So you think that didn't help? But you did hear a little bit, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, so the experiment actually worked in that you heard Spanish radio?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. Jolly well done, girls. And I want to catch you up with the animals if I can while we're out here. I've got time, I think, yes? Fantastic. Did the dogs howl?
No.
No, the dogs didn't howl. What did they do?
They didn't do very much at all, really. There was a lot of people about, and the guy's okay anyway. He just sat and looked and was interested in what was going on. The dark didn't really affect him at all.
He's just having an exciting day and enjoying
Absolutely.
himself, isn't he? But come here, because I do have exclusive news from the cricket enclosure here in the tent on the beach. The crickets did, in fact, chirrup. So that attitude that they had at the beginning of the programme of, oh, we're not going to be impressed at all, they did, in fact, chirrup. And Sam, our snowy owl here, hey Sam, show us your eyes, because these eyes apparently went huge. Don't have my finger off, will you? These eyes apparently went huge during the eclipse. The chickens did absolutely nothing, and the other owls weren't very impressed either, I don't think. So all in all on the beach, I would say we've had a pretty successful time of it with all of our experiments. And whatever, the atmosphere was just fantastic. Everyone enjoyed themselves. Everyone's a little calm now. There's a kind of an anticlimax feeling. Everyone's calmed down. Michael.
Thanks, Philip, and your owls. Well, of course, the eclipse is going now across Europe, heading for eventually the Bay of Bengal, and we're going to get some pictures now from Reims in France. Now they got a clear shot, and they're having a big celebration. Look.
Okay. So we're sort of resetting again.
Yeah, I know, you're resetting the clock.
Resetting the clock. Wow, they're having a good time.
They
And here
are,
we're
yeah.
seeing the last piece of sun again disappearing.
It's an
got some
endless
crowd there.
replay, isn't it?
Oh, there's some wonderful beads being formed on the end here. Just watch as this now shrinks down. Here's a beautiful pink prominence. We're gradually chopping this up into separate little baby beads.
Oh, look, there's the beads.
This is wonderful. And now it all disappears, and hopefully somebody will take a filter off, and we're
They're
back
going
to the
mad,
clouds.
and
They
that's the main square in
really are
Reims, isn't
enjoying
it? And there
Now,
it is, totality.
Here we are, this is totality. Now we're beginning to see the corona. It's a very busy corona because we're coming up to the maximum of the sun's activity cycle. So really it's faint, pearly light. About the brightness of the moon, in fact.
Well, they've been a bit
Absolutely
luckier than
wonderful.
us in France by the cathedral there.
Here we can see the prominences again.
Oh yes, wonderful shot. Well, anyway, let's come back here and to those experiments that we were doing out there on the beach. We better tie them up to Philippa, to Helen and Francisco out there on the beach.
Thank you very much. Well, Francisco, how does that rate in your eclipse viewing?
It was a great experience. We couldn't see the corona, but we saw a beautiful landscape still here. We saw the shadow of the moon rushing from there above us and all the crowds shouting, and it was amazing. And to see this orange light around St. Michael's Mount, it was amazing. Really, really impressive eclipse.
It's actually quite amazing watching you because you came so agitated. You were running around like this, checking all your filters. Do you think you will have learnt anything from viewing this eclipse from the Earth?
Yes, well, we saw some images from the aircraft, and they were big prominences, and we saw a very roundish corona. We will discuss that tonight, I think. And it was a very interesting eclipse, almost typical of a maximum period of solar activity, which is coming to that in a couple of years' time. I'm sure that people in the rest of Europe have learned a lot about this eclipse. Yes.
Okay. Francisco, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's
I
a
know
pleasure.
it would have been better for you to be somewhere where it wasn't cloudy.
No, it's all right.
It's been great here on the beach. I don't know if we've got time to go to Radio 1 to see how they're going, or if we're going straight back to Michael. You'll soon see.
Okay, we are. We're going to take a very quick look at Radio 1 to see how they're going. Oh, we lost Radio 1 for the moment. I hope you noticed they were rubbing each other down there. Poor old Francisco came in his shorts and everything this morning, being terribly optimistic, and he's definitely put some more clothes on. Parky, you were, as a scientist, interested in the corona, weren't you?
Yes, it is absolutely remarkable to be able to see the outer atmosphere of a star, and having this phenomenal coincidence, because it isn't going to last forever. A few million years we won't get any more total eclipses, to actually see this outer atmosphere. And here we can see now this is the corona. We can see the prominences poking out around here, and we can see this very busy corona. This we don't actually understand how it gets so hot, and this is one of the great challenges.
What is it, a million
us.
degrees centigrade, isn't it?
A few million degrees,
A
in
few
fact.
million, yeah.
And you can see these streamers coming out. There's a beautiful helmet streamer there as the field shapes the material, chaps it, and then thunders waves into it to heat it up.
So leave aside the mysticism. This is the science, isn't it?
This is the science, and this to me, I can't describe it. The first eclipse I saw, it was a life's ambition, and now to see it again.
This one's pretty close,
super.
Parky, thanks very much indeed. Mark, thanks very much indeed. Philippa, Helen, Francisco on the beach, thanks. That's all from us here in Cornwall for now. But please join us again at 11:35 this evening on BBC One for Total Eclipse Highlights, when we report on the impact of the eclipse from all over the southwest and from along the whole track as it crosses Europe, the Middle East and India. The eclipse here, of course, is still not over. It remains partial until the moon finally uncovers the whole disk of the sun. And that's at about 12:30, making the duration of the whole event 2 hours and 35 minutes. But the moments that I think all of us here will take home with us, are those 2 minutes of curious stillness and darkness when everyone could hardly believe what was happening. Goodbye from all of us here, and we'll leave you with that magical moment once again.
The Eclipse Forum is being frequented by several of the top solar scientists